So, you want to become the Pope. Simple, right? Private city, custom outfits, a job where people literally kiss your hand? Yeah, let's talk about how you, a normal human disaster like the rest of us, could technically become the Pope. It's both easier and way harder than you think. First things first, what even is a Pope? Simple. The Pope is basically the CEO of the Catholic Church, except instead of quarterly earnings, he's responsible for, 1.3 billion people and the spiritual destiny of the planet. No pressure. He's also technically the Bishop of Rome, head of Vatican City, and the spiritual successor to St. Peter, the guy who walked around with Jesus way back in the day. Big shoes, big hat, big vibes. So, how do you get the gig? Step 1. Be Catholic. Obvious, but crucial. You can't just roll in with a LinkedIn profile that says spiritual influencer and expect to run the Catholic Church. Nah, you gotta be baptized Catholic. Preferably before you even knew what was happening, because babies make the best theological decisions apparently. Also, preferably without a criminal record. But honestly, history shows they've been flexible on that sometimes. Step 2. Be a dude. Yeah, I know. It's 2025, and you're thinking, hey, equality. But nah, you have to be male. I can't remember the last time a woman was a pope. The rules are ancient and haven't caught up with modern HR practices. Okay, cool, 50% of the world's population is automatically disqualified, which is a great start. Step 3. Become a priest. And not just any priest. You gotta go through seminary, which is basically priest school, like Hogwarts, but way less magic and way more Latin. It usually takes about 6 to 8 years of studying philosophy, theology, and learning how to say Mass. Learning how to pretend you understand ancient Greek, how to bless things, how to keep a straight face during awkward confessions. Essential priest skills. You gotta memorize prayers, wear a lot of black, and get very comfortable speaking in public without sweating through your clothes. Pass all that? Congratulations, you're a priest. A father, actually. Enjoy it. It's the last time anyone's gonna call you father without asking for free advice or prayers. But you're still about 1,000 miles away from popehood. Step 4. Climb the ladder. Now in the Catholic Church, the ladder looks like this. Priest, bishop, cardinal, and pope. Priests are in charge of local parishes and can eventually be promoted to bishops. Bishops are in charge of overseeing multiple local parishes called a diocese. They are like the regional managers per se. To become a bishop, be popular, be politically smart. Hope your boss likes you. Pray you don't post something weird on Facebook from 2009. Once you're a bishop, you're officially on the Vatican's radar. You're basically a mid-level boss now. You have authority, a special hat, and your own fancy stick. In fact, you're in charge of bigger stuff now, like churches, schools, and making people feel guilty professionally. Bishops can get promoted to archbishops. That's like the bishop of bishops. And the real fancy ones, the ones with the coolest titles and the best robes, might get tapped to become cardinals. And cardinals? Those are the guys who get to pick the pope, which means if you want to be pope, you better be a cardinal first. Otherwise, you're just some random priest yelling from the bleachers. Cardinals are like the Catholic Avengers. They wear red, they advise the Pope, and most importantly, they get to vote for the next Pope. Getting picked as a cardinal is like getting a verified checkmark on Holy Twitter. It means you're legit. The Pope personally picks cardinals. So now you're playing God-tier office politics. How do you become a cardinal? Step 5. Get noticed. Be really good at your job, or at least make people think you're really good at your job. Manage a giant important diocese. That's a Catholic management word for area. Run a big department in the Vatican. Write some cool theology books. Maybe survive a scandal or two. It's basically like networking, but with more incense. Also, it helps to be really old, because for some reason, everybody loves picking popes who look like they could sneeze and turn into dust. Or maybe it's just the wisdom that comes with age. Step 6. Wait for the current pope to retire or die. Yeah, popes don't have term limits. They either retire, which barely ever happens. It happened once in 600 years, or they die. So you wait, for years, decades maybe, just vibing, quietly plotting, sharpening your I'm totally humble but also electable aura. Then boom, the Pope dies. The church hits New Game Plus mode. When that happens, the cardinals hold a big fancy meeting called a conclave. And it's like the Catholic version of Survivor. The cardinals lock themselves in the Sistine Chapel. No phones, no Netflix. They just vote and vote and vote. They need a 2/3 majority to elect a new pope, which means if 100 cardinals are voting, you need like 67 dudes to say, yeah, we vibe with him. If they don't agree, they just keep voting, sometimes for days. Meanwhile, outside, the whole world is just staring at a chimney, waiting for white smoke to come out. Because when they finally pick a new pope, the Vatican burns the ballots, and poof, white smoke goes up. Step 7. Actually get picked. And here's the crazy part. You don't technically have to be a cardinal to be picked. You don't even have to be a bishop. In theory, any baptized Catholic male could be elected pope. Yes, even you, watching this in your SpongeBob pajamas. But realistically, it's going to be a cardinal, probably one who already lives in Rome, probably one who hasn't posted anything super questionable on Facebook, because the cardinals are not going to gamble on some random guy who showed up in flip-flops. So, once you're elected, you have to say yes. You can say no, it's happened, but honestly, who's going to turn down that upgrade? Apartment in Vatican City? Private chef? Thousands of people chanting your name? Come on, you're saying yes. They ask you what name you want to use. That's why popes have cool names like Francis or John Paul. And that's it. New pope. Congratulations, Your Holiness. You now run a tiny country, control billions of dollars, and your signature literally creates saints. You'll have bodyguards, custom outfits, VIP access to heaven, probably, and you'll basically be the world's coolest grandpa, forever. The crowd goes wild, massive ceremony, a new era begins. But wait, how long does this whole thing take? The short answer is a lifetime. Unless you're a speedrunner in God mode, you're looking at like 8 years to become a priest, decades to climb the ranks, a lot of right place, right time luck, a metric ton of patience. Also, you gotta hope that the cardinals think you're the spiritual and political sweet spot. Not too boring, not too chaotic, basically the Catholic Goldilocks zone. In summary, to become pope, you need be Catholic, be male, old rules, sorry, be a priest, bishop, cardinal, be very, very good at church politics, not die of old age, first survive a smoke-filled voting marathon, hope 2 to 3 of the cardinals like your vibes. Easy, right? So yeah, technically, you could become pope. Just gotta dedicate your whole life, never screw up, and be chill enough that 100 other guys think, yep, he's the one we'll trust with Earth's spiritual Wi-Fi password. Otherwise, probably easier to just stay home, be a good person, and keep binge-watching weird videos like this one. Anyway, bless up. Smash that subscribe button like you're blessing some holy water. And remember, you miss 100% of the popes you don't attempt to become.